What we're going to do here for our Math 105 classes is to show you a primer on how to do your homework. So we'll go to a browser. I'm going to use Mozilla. Open it. And I've put a little bookmark up here in my bookmark bar there. And again, if you ever forget, you can type in Course Compass right up here as one word, and that'll bring you to the site. And sign in. Now it's remembering my username and password. And it gets to this page. Now on this page, you're probably only going to have one link. I'm teaching 3 Math 100 classes, and I'm going to use this one up here to show you what it's like to work on the homework. So these are the menu bars on the left, and we're going to take a look at our homework bar. Now you have to allow pop-ups, and what I've done, just so you have an idea what it's like, is I've created some homework assignments. And so far I've done 4 homework assignments that I'll use to show you what they're like. Now over in this column we have the due dates. We're saying that the assignments for Chapter 1, and by the way, you don't do Chapter 1, your assignments will be specific for the work you'll be covering in Math 105. And you don't do Chapter 1. You start with some items on Chapter 2. And here we see the due dates for Chapter 1 are September 5th. Then when we went on to Chapter 2, the assignments are due on the 19th of September. Now your instructors will put the due dates for your assignments. But to get started, I worked on some of this first assignment yesterday, and I saved my results, so it's showing what I've done so far. I've completed question 1, 2, 5, and 3. I attempted question 7, but I got it wrong. And I'll show you how to correct that. In example 1, this little box after it is actually a piece of film indicating that the makers of our textbook have made a little short video for you to actually see if you needed help in doing that type of example. This one has a video and an animation that may be helpful to you. So let's take a look now at question number 4. A pop-up screen, and you have to allow the pop-ups, and sometimes it disappears. You have to go to your bar at the bottom to have access to it, and there it shows number 4. And what they're asking, translate the word phrase to an algebraic expression. The quotient of C and B. Well, hopefully you know that quotient means a fraction. So I'm going to activate the answer box by clicking in it. I then go to my tool palette over here, And notice there are a number of tools. If you want to write a fraction, it's this that I'll click on. If you wanted to write a mixed number, it's this. If you wanted to write an exponent, if you wanted to write absolute values, the square root of something, something, a power of something to be worked. Here, subscript. Here, this is how you would write an ordered pair. And if you click on more, it gives you all of these other math symbols. Here, the inequalities and other symbols you might use in later assignments. But here we want to write a quotient of C and B. So the first one goes on top, and the B goes on the bottom. Now, I've put my answer in. I sort of gave it a double check. I go down here to check answer, and lo and behold, I have that one right. Now, notice right now up there, 4 is blank, but when I say OK, a check comes there. Now I'm going on to number 6, one that I missed. And it's asking me to determine whether 28 is a solution of the equation. Well, if I put 28 there, 28 minus 20 is not 11. But I'm going to purposefully get it wrong by saying yes. I know the answer is no, but I put yes. I want you to see this. And it says, oh, and then it gives you a little hint. It says, check your work. So I have that one wrong. Notice now an X, a red X has appeared by that example. But what MATLAB does is allow you to try a similar example. Now how about determine whether 27 is a solution. Now 27 minus 13, is that 19? No. So I click that and check it, and it says yes. Now watch what happens. At 6 there was a red X, but when I click this, it now is changed to a correct answer. And let's go to one that I had wrong purposefully the other day. Now notice that one's wrong. This is the correct answer. And now I can click on similar exercise. They don't want you to actually do it. They want you to see which of these equations or expressions is the correct method to do it. So here we have this divided by a number. We don't know the number. When we don't know a number, we often use the letter X to stand for it. So this is not correct. This is your multiplying. It's letter D. So this is divided by a number, which we don't know, and the results is this. So I click on this. I now check my answer. I see I have it correct. Now where I had it wrong originally up there, when I check it, it now goes from a red X to a green check, indicating it's correct. And watch what I do now. I'm going to save my work, and it takes me back to my homework screen. Now notice I have completed examples 1 through 7. I still have some examples to do, but by saving it, it upgrades it. Now, the way the homework fits into your grade in your course is that the instructor has prepared a series of these examples that he or she wants you to know in order to prepare you to do well on your test. You are developing mastery skills by practicing this homework, and the teacher is going to use this homework result as part of your chapter grade. And these homeworks are going to be available up until the time you take the test on that particular chapter. Now, they may extend the time with less points or whatever the teacher says that they will do in their syllabus in regard to the homework. Now, this was just on a first part of chapter 1. So let's do another example. Now here, they're asking you to use a skill. And again, you might say, well, where do I find how to do that skill? Well, the key is read your textbook, listen carefully to the lecture in class, take notes, and then apply this knowledge to knowing how to do this. Now, the commutative law states that when you have an addition, you can just switch these around, and that would be true. So that's what I'm going to do here. I've activated the box. I'm going to put PQ plus G. I have just switched the order of these around to illustrate the commutative law. I check my answer, and it is correct. I now go to number 9. Now here it says use the commutative law to evaluate this. So we're going to take this, and this will become then 4V plus 40. And I check my answer, and it says, oh, that's not correct. And you might say, what's going on there? And you don't know what to do. So then you would go over to these tutorial bars on the right and say, help me solve this. Now for this one, you have to input some items. This second one where it says view an example, that's the one we're going to choose. It says use the commutative law to find equivalent to this. So in addition, it would look like that. In multiplication, it would look like that. Okay. Now you may or may not have understood that. You might have to go on. And then it shows some others. But notice you don't have to input anything. And then finally you'll just close it. So I go to my bar here and delete all of that. So what I've done is I've put in now, just switch the positions around, the V plus 10 and then times 4, because that's what they wanted. And I check my answer and it says, oh, I have that wrong again. All right, let's see what they wanted. So final check. Okay. So what they will do when you do your homework is they will let you try a first time, try a second time, and then on the third time, they will give you the answer. So what they wanted us to do is actually just switch what was inside the parenthesis as opposed to switching the whole thing around. Ah, okay. And this is how we found it out. And that's how, maybe I should have read this more carefully. I would have done it. But now I see it. So I click done. It's going to count it wrong, but it does allow me to do it again. And that's what it's like. So then I click save, and you see I have that last one done. Now, what's going on here? Well, once again, the teacher, instructor, has set up some examples for you to work and to master so that when it's time to take the test, you will be able to use this knowledge to be successful on your test items. And this is the practice that is done as homework. Now, as we mentioned before, there is a due date, and generally they're sequential. When they're due, here all of them are due at a certain date. But again, this is up to your instructor as to how they set it up. My advice, strong advice, is get them done before the test, get full credit. It helps you to do well on your test. And I believe this will be the presentation of how to do homework in your My Math Lab Math 105 class.